What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today's video is going to be insane. We're going to be talking about why you shouldn't rent other people's cars on Turo. Now, there's a lot of YouTubers talking about this is the car hack, this is how you grow your business, and that is complete, utter BS. And we're going to tell you some of the reasons why you don't want to do it, and there are some small cases where you can, but there are a lot of downsides to that. But before I get into the video, could you do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm? It helps me find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, please consider subscribing. We do post 3 times a week, so make sure you click the notification bell. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. We post funny stuff there all the time. We're always doing something crazy, you know, either buying cars, flipping cars, going to the auctions, some rental car stories, a lot more intimate content, so please check us out there. And without any more shameless plugging, let's get into the video. So before I get into the video, I want to make a huge announcement. We just hit 50,000 subscribers, or we're probably going to hit it because I think we're at 49,995 or something like that by the time this video posts. So we are going to give another giveaway, but this time we're going to do another consulting call. So all you got to do to qualify for this one is just put a comment section down below. If you want to put 50K, a funny joke, whatever you want, I truly appreciate it. It's been amazing. I can't believe we're actually at 50,000 subscribers, which is great. So we're just going to do this giveaway, and we're probably going to give this giveaway this upcoming Monday, but I am going to do a big one for the 50K. I don't know if we're going to give away a class or a dealer training, something cool, but I'm thinking about it right now, what I should do to give away for our 50,000 subscriber giveaway. But anyways, make sure you put a comment section down below, and let's get into the video. So today we're going to be talking about why you should not rent other people's cars on Turo. Now, the reason why I decided to do this video is I kept getting a lot of people on consulting calls and comments on YouTube, Facebook, and everything else asking me, you know, like, I want to grow my Turo business. I'm going to start doing consignments. And I started asking them, hey, where did you get these ideas from? Like, because it's a bad idea. And they started sending me clips and links of other YouTubers talking about this is the right way to grow your business. Now, I watched a few of the videos and they were really bad, and you know, some of the people I actually like, they do give out good information, but this particular piece of information is extremely bad, and it can hurt you personally as well as professionally and your account. It can get you caused to get kicked off. So I'm going to go over some of the things why you shouldn't mess with renting other people's cars, some of the personal liabilities and issues that you're going to have with it. So, you know, I know that a lot of people, it's very easy to get other people's cars to put them on Turo. You know, you want to grow your platform, you want to grow your business, and I understand that. But you don't want to do it because of what we talked about earlier, personal liabilities. This is very important. As you become successful in business, you want to mitigate your risk for personal liabilities. Anybody that's owned a business will tell you this, but when I watch these videos of these YouTubers talking about this stuff, obviously they've never been sued before. So I'm going to give you my take on it and make sure that you guys don't fall into the same pitfalls. So, you know, when it comes to, you know, signing up other people and renting your cars through your platform, like I said, it's definitely a double-edged sword. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, a few months ago, I made a video about a gentleman that basically gave his car to another car broker in Atlanta. And, you know, they all had this thing where they would rent it on each other's Turo platforms and everything else. And make a long story short, they crashed this guy's car, which was over a $400,000 Lamborghini SVJ Roadster, and it was totaled out, and they didn't have insurance, they didn't rent it through the platform, and the guy got screwed, and he got left holding the bag with all that money and all that debt, you know, and there was nothing he can do. So, you know, now he's suing this person and going after him, but most of these people don't have anything. They're a bunch of broker jokers is what we call them, people that don't really have anything. They're just flashy on social media. So now they're chasing these guys and getting the feds involved, and it's a big headache. I'll link to the video somewhere up here so this way you guys can see it, but that's what you have to deal with. So that's the extreme end, which we're going to break it down in a few different steps. So first, we're going to be talking about you as a host if you sign up other people on your actual platform to rent off of Turo. Now, you know, I'm not saying 100% it's an awful thing, but 90% of the reason why you don't want to do it, like I said, is because of the personal liabilities. Now, if it's maybe your brother or your wife or, you know, some sort of, you know, intimate family member that you know that like you disclosed all things, hey, this is going to be our business, we're getting these cars specifically for renting them out, and you have that family dynamic, I don't think it's that bad for you to take your brother's car and put it on there as long as you guys have a very firm and understanding thing. Even if it's something generic, I would recommend you guys write down, even if it's a one-page contract, hey, I'm going to rent this car out, you're going to get X amount of dollars, we're going to put it on auto posting, and this is what it is. And if you do something like that, there's nothing wrong with it. But when it comes to getting other people, because when I watched these videos of these other YouTubers, they were actually putting out like Facebook ads and Craigslist ads. Hey, you can't afford your car? Give me your car and I'll rent it out for you, and it's the worst idea ever. So what happens is we talked about personal responsibility and liability. Now, if let's say I don't know you, you're just some random person and you're like, hey, I'm going to give you my car and I want you to rent it. Now, there's a few problems. First thing we're going to talk about is the actual renting it out on Turo. So let's say you have your cars and they're very popular and they're renting out a lot. Eventually, this person that has this other car may not be a popular car. So first they get what's called like envy or jealousy, where they're just like, well, your cars are renting all the time. Why aren't my cars renting? You're doing something wrong. And then you have that issue where you're making more money than they are and they're upset because they have to pay their payment, and now they want you to cover half their payment because you've held onto their car for Turo. The second thing is you're going to get into the percentage or pricing problem, which I see 90% of the people explode and blow up about. So when you tell people, hey, we're going to rent your car for $50 a day, in their minds, they're thinking, wow, I'm going to get $50 in my pocket at the end of the day. It's an exciting thing. So you rent out their car for $50 a day, Turo takes their cut, and then you say, okay, well, we have a split between maybe 20 and 20%, and he gets the rest, or vice versa. Whatever your management fee is, then the big problems fight. Well, I rented my car, I gave you a $20,000 car, and I'm making $20 every time it rents. I'm not making any money, it's not making any sense. And then you get into the he said, she said, it's a big argument and it's a big problem. So, you have that issue where they're not making enough money. Plus, you have to make it crystal clear when it comes to actual expenses and problems, because what's going to happen is if they feel like they're not making enough money, they're going to be complaining, they're going to be bitching. And then I've actually seen people get kicked off the platform because another person called on another person. Now, this is a rare instance, but this is one of the main reasons why I'm going to tell you guys you don't want to rent other people's cars. So what happened with this particular group of people, they were all in LA renting Teslas. And one of the guys was upset because his Model X was going for, I think, like $200 a day, and they were giving his away for $160 because they just wanted to get their quick money, and they didn't care if this guy made any money or not. So they just priced it lower than everybody else, but kept theirs high. So this guy, in his infinite wisdom, thought it'd be cool if he called Turo to double check to see if that was the good rates. So he started explaining to Turo, yeah, this is my car. These guys are ripping me off. They're using other people's cars for the platform. And when Turo hears that kind of thing, like you're using other people's cars, they don't know what you're doing if you're involved in some sort of shady business, and they just automatically kick you off the platform. So you do run the risk of getting kicked off the platform if you have some sort of issue with your renters. So if they start calling and trying to verify, like, hey, did he make $20 off of this rental because I only got $20? As soon as they start calling in saying stuff like that, they're going to kick you off the platform. Not worth the headache, not worth the problems. Next thing is if you have any type of accidents or issues. So back in the day, Turo was really good with, Turo and HireCar was good with paying with claims. So if you crashed your car, usually within a week, you would get an estimate, or they would say, hey, you know what, we're going to pay you out X amount of dollars and blah, 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 and you can go ahead and make your money and move forward. Well, a lot of people want to make a lot of money, so they pick the lowest insurance cost. So when their car gets crashed, it could take 2, 3, 4 weeks for them to even get back to you to start the process of getting repaired. So this whole time, this person's car is not being rented. They're not getting the reimbursements because they picked the cheap insurance. So all that lost money is basically gone. And now their car's sitting there and they have to make monthly payments. So then they're going to start crying to you. Oh, well, you owe me. You drove my car. You did the Turo thing. You have to pay me. I want my money. I want this. And they start crying and complaining. And then you got to call Turo, and then they'll call Turo, and they make it complicated. It's a nightmare. So when it comes to that type of thing, I always tell people you don't want to do it because of, like I said, the personal liabilities. And on top of that, even though they're your friends and everything else, like I said, everybody's great. Everybody's friendship and everything is good when you're making money. But when you actually got to start taking money out of your pocket to pay for bills and to pay for costs and loss, revenue and everything else like that, that's going to be the true definition of if you guys are friends or family or whatever else the case is. So a lot of times I tell people it's not worth the headache. If you're going to be making $20 to rent out somebody's car and take on the personal liability of an $80,000 car, why even waste your time? But these people have this mentality of like, I gotta have a bunch of cars on the platform, I gotta grow, whatever they can to nickel and dime their way to success. I'm telling you right now, please be patient, build your business, do it correctly without all the stress and headaches. Because if you do it this way, if it's your own cars and they crash and something's going on, you can calm yourself down and know what to do. But if you got other people's cars and they're being crashed or damaged or anything happens to them, you don't want to mess with that. And like, we said before, if that car's sitting in your parking lot, which we're going to talk about this next section, actually, I'll just go into that right now. So there was a guy, I won't mention names, but he was in LA and I think another guy in Texas. And they had this big lot, like a dealership, kind of like mine, that had a bunch of spaces. And what they were doing is they were telling people, hey, ship me your car, down here. I'll rent it for you. I'll give you the space for free and I'll charge you a percentage of your cars. Well, what happened is somebody broke into a bunch of the cars there, were stealing stereos, broken windows, stealing catalytic converters, all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, guess what happened? All the people are like, well, you had my car, it's your responsibility, you have to pay for it. And now these guys are like, well, I'm not making any money, I'm not paying for that, you have to call your own insurance. And these people don't have business licenses, they don't have insurance, they don't even really own anything, they're usually just, I call them broker jokers, people are just middlemen. And so now, you have this massive group of people that are basically going after this poor guy on social media. I think he's taken down his Instagram, they destroyed his YouTube, and he was all one of these, another Turo guru that was talking about how these little tricks of the trade will make you a bunch of money. Now, if that stuff worked, don't you think I would do that same thing? Like, you guys have seen the videos. I have a big lot right here in the middle of Vegas. It fits 150 cars. Have I ever made a single announcement saying, hey, ship me your car, I'll rent it for you? No, because I don't want the headache and I don't want the personal liability because it's just not worth it. And that's one of the things that you guys got to understand is if it really is truly successful and it's that good, everybody and their grandma will be doing it. So, when it comes to these guys telling you to ship them their cars and let them rent it out for you or let them take it, unless they are, like I said, your family members, don't do it. I don't care if it's your best buddy since high school. Money will split you guys apart and it'll be nothing but problems and issues. Now, we're going to go into the next part where if, let's say, you're a customer, a consumer, and you're giving your car to somebody to host it. Now, what we talked about earlier about this client that I had that gave his car to these people in Atlanta and they crashed it, this Lamborghini, the same thing can happen to you. There's a lot of people that lie about what they do for a living. So they'll say, hey, I'm going to rent this on my Turo application and we're going to make a bunch of money together and we're going to be rich and everything's going to be great. But what they don't tell you is they're actually renting it to just regular people off the streets. They're posting ads on Craigslist, Facebook. They don't care. They're just handing your keys to complete strangers. I've seen it happen multiple times, a lot of times in Atlanta. Atlanta is like the scammers' capital for rental cars. So these guys literally get your keys and just start giving them to everybody. And next thing you know, you're like, well, hey, where's my car? Oh, bro, somebody fucking stole it. They just took off with it. I don't know where it's at. And you're like, well, call Turo, get my money, get the insurance, let's get it cashed out, we'll go get another car. Oh, well, I rented it to my buddy's buddy that was a friend of my cousin's, roommate, sister's cousin, boyfriend. Boom, you're screwed. Your car is gone. You try to call the cops, and the worst thing is if you call your insurance company, you can't lie to them. You have to tell them, I gave my car to this gentleman and he gave it to somebody else. Since you gave your keys to another person willingly, a lot of times you cannot file stolen car claims. And so that's one of the issues and problems with this. And if they do pay out, you run the risk of committing insurance fraud, and then you go to jail. So there's a lot of headaches when it comes to you taking that personal responsibility over for somebody else. So if you're a person considering giving your car to one of these people, I would highly recommend not doing it. I would rather see you guys do Postmates or Uber Eats or something, or even start your own Turo app just so you can start out and do it instead of giving your car to somebody else or to one of these Turo experts, because they're just going to damage your car, they're going to rent it to a bunch of people that are shady as hell, and they're going to rent it off platform. Another one, which I thought was pretty funny, is a guy here in Vegas. He travels a lot for work, and he has an Aston Martin, a G-Wagon, and a few other exotic cars, and a Slingshot. He gave them to another guy here locally in town. And he was like, well, I'm never here. He's like, I'll rent it out for you. When it's rented, I'll pay you out. So a few times they rented the car and they're like, hey, we rented your car for $600 a day. My cut's $150. I'll send you the rest. And so the guy was selling him money and he was pretty excited. He's like, wow, he goes, I'm making $2,000, $3,000 a month on a car that I never even drive, plus it's paying my bill. So it's a kind of a good thing, but then all of a sudden, little by little, the rental started slowing down. And he told the guy, it's just not renting as much. It is what it is. So he decided to take his car back. And then he looked at the miles. they drove the hell out of his car, you know, and so he started going back through his text messages, you know, saying, well, these guys, were they going out of state or out of whatever town? And he's like, yeah, they probably did, you know, they screwed us both, it's very shady, blah, blah, blah. So I told him, I was like, well, how many times did he pay you? And he said it was like upwards of 20 times. And I was like, well, do me a favor, go to his Turo site and look how many trips he has. So we looked at his Turo thing. He had over, I think, like 60 trips on this car. So he only paid him out for 20 something of those 60 trips. So the rest of the money, that guy just pocketed in his pocket and kept it. So with this new information, he screenshot it and took it to him. And he was like, what's this? You rented my car out 66 times, you know, and you didn't pay me for more than half of these times. What's going on? You know, and the guy was like, oh, well, I needed the money. I had bills and expenses and blah, blah, blah. And they canceled and, you know, was making a bunch of excuses. And so he winded up calling Turo and getting that guy canceled off the platform for not paying. So, you know, when it comes to that, like I said, you got to make sure that one, you're friends with the person and you're constantly looking at their Turo. But to be honest with you, it's not worth the headache. It's not worth the risk. And like I said, they're going to literally use your car like crazy. Oh, I got another one. So this guy in Houston, not a fancy car, just a Chevy Malibu. This guy came and approached a group of friends saying that he was a Turo expert and he could rent their cars out on Turo and everything else. And so what he did was he was renting him out on Turo. But one of the cars wasn't renting enough, which was this Malibu. He couldn't figure out why his car was only getting rented maybe one day out of the week. And he was very upset. Well, come to find out that this Turo guru was using the car as his daily driver. He was constantly taking it out, using it to do his daily stuff like that because the guy didn't even own a single car. So, like I said, you run that risk of just basically giving your cars to random people and praying to God they make money. Because I've been approached many of times. I've had people wanting to give me exotic cars, Highline cars, even cheap cars to rent on like the platforms like Hire Car for delivery vehicles. And I always tell people no. And there's a reason why, because personal liability. So, you know, I'm going to reach out to some of these YouTubers that are putting out these videos. You know, like I said, some of them are actually really good people. They just, I don't know where they got this information and it's actually really bad. And I don't think they've been sued yet. That's probably why. Once they personally get sued, then I think they're going to realize that, you know, taking somebody's $20,000 car and running the risk of getting sued for $100,000 for them coming after themselves, their house, other liabilities, it's not worth the headache. So anyways, so the gist of this video is, please guys, do not rent your other people's cars out on Turo. You know, build your fleet little by little. If you have a friend or family member that's extremely close and you're going to do it and you want to take that risk, hey, that's up to you, but you need to put that in paper. You need to make sure you agree on your percentages. You need to go over all the scenarios. If somebody steals the car, if somebody crashes the car, damages to the car, if the car is left you know, at somebody's house, lot, whatever the case may be, you put all that in writing and you both sign it and you both send it to each other's emails so you have both copies. So if the event, something happens, you're both covered, you both were willing participants, you're both adults, you said yes, he signed it and said yes, he signed it and said yes, it is what it is. But if you ask me, don't do it. Just grow the old way, buy a few buckets. If you can't get fancy cars, I keep telling you guys, do hire a car. You can get some older cars, you can get two-door buckets, put them on there, rent them out to Postmate drivers, stuff like that to slowly grow your business. You don't have to go out and buy an $80,000 Mercedes to make money on Turo. You can literally buy 10 buckets for $3,000 to $5,000 each and put them on Hire Car and make just as much money, if not more. So anyways, if you guys feel like you've learned anything, please gently squeeze the like button to the YouTube algorithm. It helps me find more amazing people like yourselves and enjoy automotive content. Also, please consider subscribing. We do post 3 times a day, and only 5% of you guys that watch these videos are actually subscribed. So it means a lot to me if you subscribe. Once again, we almost hit 50,000 subs. I think we're gonna be there probably by the time this video posts. So we're doing our 50,000 giveaway, subscriber. All you gotta do is to put a comment in the section below, anything, if put 50K, I buy that for $1, toast, you wanna tell me a funny joke or even an automotive question, I will answer it, reply to you, and you get qualified for a free consulting call with yours truly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanna thank you guys so much for watching. Also follow us on Instagram, automotive.life, and I guess we'll see you next time.